You know, most people go through life chasing after little things, believing that if they can just arrange life perfectly, happiness will finally settle in. They chase better jobs, bigger houses, better relationships, more money, fewer problems. Always chasing, always rearranging. But what if it isn't about changing your life from the outside at all? What if the real transformation begins not with doing more, but by being more willing? It's easy to confuse desire with vision. Desire wants something for itself. It's personal, small, and incremental. Today it wants one thing. Tomorrow it wants another. Desire reshuffles the same deck of cards. It keeps you in motion, but rarely in growth. Vision, on the other hand, steps beyond the self. Vision is expansive. Vision is inclusive. It's not just about fixing what's broken. It's about transforming the entire way you relate to life itself. And here's where the magic begins. When you shift from chasing desires to embracing vision, you no longer operate from lack. You're no longer driven by what you think you don't have. Instead, you begin to act from fullness, from a deeper place. Not because you have to, but because you want to. Not because you're forced, but because you're willing. Willingness. That's the doorway. Imagine this for a moment. Imagine living life not out of compulsion or resistance, but from a place of total willingness, where nothing you do is forced, where every action you take, even the smallest ones, feel like a choice. That feeling? That's joy. That's freedom. That's presence. And most people think they're free, but their lives are ruled by likes and dislikes. I like this person. I don't like that one. I'll do this willingly because I enjoy it, but I'll resist that other thing because it's hard or uncomfortable or boring. And slowly, without realizing it, they create a split world. A world of yes and no, of me and them, of good and bad. But willingness dissolves that divide. It doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It means saying yes to life as it is, without resisting it. You show up fully, not for perfection, not for reward, but because you're deeply alive and participating. That's what it means to be a volunteer in the truest sense. Not volunteering for an organization or a task, but volunteering for life itself. You see, we often make our happiness conditional. We say things like, if only they were kinder, or if only the job was better, or if only they appreciated me more, then I'd be happy. But the moment your joy is dependent on someone else, you've handed over your power. You've become a slave to circumstance. True freedom begins when you stop outsourcing your inner world. When you stop giving people the power to make you happy, or angry, or sad. When you decide that what happens within you is yours and yours alone. That's when you become free. That's when life becomes yours. So the question isn't whether life is hard. Life will have its storms. People will frustrate you. Things won't always go to plan. The real question is, can you still choose to be willing? Can you still choose to respond instead of react? That's the quiet superpower. The ability to stay rooted when everything else moves. You've probably noticed how we tend to categorize everything. This is good. That is bad. This person is kind. That one is selfish. But when we label people or situations too quickly, we limit our ability to truly see. Because truthfully, there are no good or bad people. There are joyful people and miserable people. And all of us, every single one, shift between those two states, depending on what's going on inside us. When the environment is pleasant, most people behave well. When it's harsh, the same people can become cruel. So the key isn't to judge, but to understand. To see that people are just reflecting their inner atmosphere. And once you see that, compassion becomes natural. Judgment fades. But it all starts with willingness. Are you willing to see beyond labels? Are you willing to see yourself clearly? Not the version you present to the world, but who you are when no one's watching. Are you willing to take ownership, not of others, not of the past, but of how you feel and respond right now. Because the more willing you are, the less resistance you carry. And the less resistance, the more energy, the more joy, the more flow. And here's something beautiful. When you become willing, really willing, you begin to operate without needing a will of your own. Not because you're weak, but because you're aligned. Life doesn't feel like a struggle anymore. You stop constantly trying to fix or control. Instead, you flow. You adapt. You show up. You become available for life, not on your terms, but on life's terms. And it's in that surrender, in that availability, that transformation happens. People often ask, how do I deal with difficult people? The answer is, you don't. You don't deal with them. You understand them. You recognize that they're also doing the best they can, even if their best isn't pretty. You learn to work with all kinds of people, because if you only want to work with ideal people, you'll be alone forever. Perfection doesn't exist in people. It exists in your willingness to work with imperfection. And something miraculous happens when you do. Those you once called difficult start showing you gifts. The tough ones teach you patience. The rude ones show you your limits. The frustrating ones teach you grace. Suddenly life becomes your teacher, and every moment, especially the uncomfortable ones, becomes your classroom. It's no longer about changing them. It's about growing you. So you become a willing participant in your own evolution. And once you start living that way, life becomes less about chasing meaning and more about making meaning. Every moment becomes sacred, even the mundane ones, especially the mundane ones. You begin to see beauty in simplicity. You begin to find clarity in silence. You begin to live, not just exist. And that is the shift, from reaction to response, from resistance to willingness, from desire to vision. This isn't just philosophy. This is practice. This is transformation in action. It begins now, not later. Not when things are better. Not when people finally understand you. Not when the world slows down. Right now. Ask yourself, am I a yes to life? Not to this part or that part, but to all of it? The joy and the grief, the easy and the hard, the beauty and the mess. Because when you say yes fully, life begins to reveal its magic. And that's not something anyone can give you. That's something you choose. In every moment, you choose. Again and again, you choose to be willing.